Picture the ultimate green American dream, a sleek, glowing charging station right off Interstate 95 in the dead of night. You own it. Rivians and Teslas roll up, drivers plug in, and passive income just floods your bank account. It feels like owning a digital oil well for the 21st century, printing cash while saving the polar bear. Wall Street pundits and Silicon Valley tech bros swear this is the gold rush of our entire generation. Just drop a heavy-duty cable into the dirt, flip the switch, and watch the dollar signs roll right in. But here is the catch, and it is a brutal one. That glowing green oasis is completely bleeding money. Let us look at the cold, hard numbers. The average public fast charger sits empty 85% of the time. Yes, you heard that correctly. A utilization rate of less than 15% is the industry standard right now. Imagine opening a McDonald's on a busy highway, but customers only show up for about 3 hours a day. You would be bankrupt before Thanksgiving. And that is exactly what is secretly happening in the EV charging game. So wait. If electric vehicle sales are breaking records and government mandates are forcing everyone to go completely green, why are the people actually building the infrastructure losing their shirts day in and day out across this country? If selling electricity to millions of new drivers is supposedly a guaranteed cash cow, where is the money going? We are about to rip the lid off one of the most misunderstood business models in the United States. Because beneath the eco-friendly marketing, owning an EV station is a ruthless trap of hidden fees and crushing debt. Now, let us get one thing straight. You probably think this is a simple retail arbitrage business model, right? You buy electricity at wholesale prices from the grid, mark it up, and sell it retail to the driver. Buy for 10 cents a kilowatt hour, sell for 40 cents. It sounds like a beautifully simple math equation today. But that assumption is dead wrong. You are not just buying power, you are buying a massive infrastructure nightmare. Let us break down the day zero capital expenditures, the mountain of cash you burn before serving one single customer. To make any real money, you need a level 3 DC fast charger. Nobody wants to wait 8 hours. The hardware alone will cost you around $100,000 per unit, and you need at least 4. But the physical dispenser is just the tip of the iceberg. What lies beneath the asphalt will actually destroy you. You are tearing up concrete, laying heavy-duty conduit, and paying specialized union electricians premium wages to wire the site. That trenching and permitting process can easily add another $150,000 to your starting. And we have not even talked about the massive commercial transformers yet, the true bottleneck of this operation. Most local utility grids simply cannot handle the massive power surge required to charge multiple heavy vehicles simultaneously. So you are forced to pay for a commercial utility upgrade, a nightmare process that can take 2 years. You are looking at $500,000 deeply buried in the dirt before selling a single electric. So you take out a massive commercial business loan at 8% interest just to get the site operation. The clock is ticking. You are bleeding thousands of dollars a month in pure interest before opening day. And remember, those extremely expensive metal boxes sitting outside are exposed to rain, freezing snow, and vandals every day. The required maintenance contracts and mandatory software subscription fees will easily eat up another 10% of gross revenue. But wait, this is the exact part that takes most amateur real estate investors by complete and utter surprise. The real financial killer is not the initial setup cost, it is what happens when you actually get busy. Enter the silent and ruthless assassin of the American energy grid. It is known as commercial demand charge. When you charge your shiny new Tesla at home, you pay a flat rate for the volume of electricity. But commercial power does not work like that at all. Utilities penalize businesses based on their peak power draw. Think about it like this. Buying regular tap water by the gallon is cheap and perfectly predictable for anyone. But a demand charge is like paying a massive financial penalty for how wide you open that water faucet. Let us say it is a completely quiet Tuesday afternoon. Nobody is parked at your expensive charging station. Suddenly, 4 heavy-duty electric pickup trucks roll in and plug into your fast chargers at the same time. Your station pulls an absolute tsunami of electricity from the local grid to fill those massive lithium batteries. The power company meters that sudden 15-minute spike and slaps you with a demand charge for the entire month. That single peak charging event could easily cost you upwards of $2,000 in ruthless utility penalties alone. It does not matter if the station sits completely empty for the remaining 29 days of the calendar month. You still owe that massive fee. You literally just lost money by serving your paying customers way too fast. This is the ultimate capacity paradox that is quietly destroying the entire electric vehicle charging industry right. To handle the afternoon rush, you must build a massive infrastructure that instantly becomes a money pit during slow times. Being busy at the exact wrong time of day is a guaranteed one-way ticket straight into commercial bankruptcy. So, you are stuck building a massive electrical infrastructure just to survive a 2-hour rush on a Friday afternoon. And during the other 22 hours of the day, your expensive investment is literally collecting dust in the parking. This is the exact moment when traditional business logic completely falls apart for most excited everyday entrepreneurs. Because selling pure electricity to American drivers is actually a terrible, low-margin, money-losing business model. But here is the catch. The smartest players in this industry do not care about selling you electricity at all. The electricity is just a shiny loss leader. It is the bait on the hook to capture your most valuable asset. Your time. Think about it for a second. You cannot fill up an EV battery in 3 minutes and drive away. You are physically trapped at that location for 30 to 45 minutes while your car communicates with the grid. And what exactly are you going to do with a bored family inside a small metal box for nearly an hour? You are going to walk inside the air-conditioned convenience store and start spending real money on absolute garbage. This is the hidden gold mine. The actual retail arbitrage is not happening at the glowing charging pedestal out. It is happening when you buy a $3 cup of watered-down coffee and a $5 bag of salty potato. The profit margin on convenience store junk food and fountain sodas easily exceeds 70 to 80%. One single family buying snacks and using the restroom generates more net profit than selling an entire battery. But the monetization of your boredom does not stop at the cash register. Have you noticed the massive screens lately? Modern charging stations are essentially digital billboards disguising themselves as green energy infrastructure. While you stand there, holding the heavy cable, you are forced to watch high-definition video advertisements on loop. They are selling targeted advertising space to local law firms and insurance companies at a premium digital rate. Plus, every time you swipe your credit card or use their proprietary mobile app, they are mining your data. I am curious, though. How much would you personally pay for a coffee just to use a clean restroom while charging? They know exactly where you travel, how long you stay, and what kind of purchasing power you bring to the table. They package that behavioral data and sell it to third-party marketing brokers for cold, hard cash behind the scenes. So, you see, the charging station is merely a high-tech mousetrap designed to capture a highly captive audience. But to truly understand who is making the billions in this game, we have to zoom out and look at the macro picture. Because the real titans of this industry are playing a massive game of commercial real estate and government politics. You see, the big boys like Tesla, Electrify America, and massive private equity firms are not playing the retail. They are actually playing a ruthless game of commercial real estate land grabbing along the American interstate highways. They want to aggressively lock down the prime parking lot dirt near major exits before anyone else possibly. But how do they fund these massive multi-million-dollar construction projects when the daily utilization rate is so pathetic? Enter the United States federal government and a very special little something called the NEVI formula program. That stands for the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Program, a staggering $5 billion taxpayer giveaway. The government is literally handing out massive federal grants, covering up to 80% of the total installation. So, these corporate giants are not risking their own capital. They are simply milking federal subsidies to build their empire. It is essentially a modern gold rush, fueled entirely by taxpayer dollars, rewarding whoever can write the best grant. But the financial wizardry does not stop at government handouts. Let us talk about the invisible gold carbon credits. In certain places, like California, every single time a driver plugs into your commercial station, you generate a carbon credit. You are basically creating a highly valuable digital asset out of thin air just by dispensing heavy electrical current. And what exactly do you do with those low-carbon fuel standard credits? You sell them at a massive premium. Yes, the very same fossil fuel giants who are polluting the atmosphere are paying you millions to offset their emissions. This is where the real bottom line is padded. Selling pure power is a joke. Selling environmental guilt is lucrative. Now add in some aggressive tax loopholes, specifically the accelerated depreciation schedule for commercial business equipment. A savvy private equity fund can legally write off a massive chunk of that charging station's total value in year one. They use those massive paper losses to completely offset their taxable gains in completely unrelated real estate portfolios. So while the mom and pop investor is desperately stressing over a brutal $200 monthly utility penalty, the massive funds are simply using the charger as a giant corporate tax shield and a strategic real estate placeholder. They know that in 10 years, the commercial land underneath those glowing green lights will be worth infinitely more. It is a classic American monopoly playbook disguised perfectly as a desperate mission to save the melting ice. This brings us to the ultimate bottom line question for any aspiring entrepreneur looking at this green energy gold rush. Can a regular guy with a piece of commercial dirt actually survive this cutthroat institutional game? Let us run the actual real-world numbers on a standard 4-charger layout and watch the dream completely unravel. Let us assume you successfully install 4 fast chargers for a grand total of roughly $600,000. In a perfect utopian world, your projected retail energy sales might actually hit exactly $50,000 annually. But reality hits incredibly hard. You must subtract $20,000 immediately for mandatory hardware maintenance and proprietary software subscription. Subtract another $15,000 for commercial demand charges, just because 3 massive trucks plugged in on a hot July afternoon. Factor in your crushing 8% commercial loan interest, and suddenly your green gold mine is completely underwater today. Unless you can trap those bored drivers inside a convenience store to buy wildly overpriced soda and hot dogs, or unless you have a dedicated team of corporate lawyers hunting down federal tax credits and lucrative carbon offsets, you are not running a profitable business at all. You are simply funding an incredibly expensive charity for wealthy. So the very next time you are driving down Interstate 95 in the dead of a cold, dark night, and you see that sleek, beautifully illuminated green charging station glowing quietly in the distance of an empty parking lot, do not look at it as a passive income dream or a majestic monument to saving the freezing polar bear. Recognize it for what it truly is, a ruthless financial machine desperately waiting to sell you a bag of potato chips.